So MMI was formed from the merger of Momentum and Metropolitan in 2010. That's 7 years ago. I remember it as clear as daylight. Exactly. 35 billion rand in terms of market cap.
Yes, it has a price to earnings ratio pretty high for a company in the sector, 21.79, and also a very high dividend, 6.93%.
Yeah, almost 70%. I mean, that's reason enough to buy the share.
Yeah, so a good yielder, but whether it's going to grow, I'm not sure.
And look at the share price graph. It doesn't look as though much value being extracted from that merger of Metropolitan and Momentum.
Yeah, I think, as you said, it's quite long in the tooth now, so that part's played out, and it was meant to bring a collection of assets together that spread across the market, the healthcare, the life, and then different markets as well, your sort of more upper LSM and your lower LSM, so I think that has worked. But it's a competitive sector, as we've discussed. One of the smaller businesses in the sector, and almost, if you go back to its founding as Momentum, overshadowed by Discovery, and really had to break out of the First Rand group. So you still have it in RMI though, which is the sort of legacy of that whole First Rand conglomeration. So a solid business, but it's struggling a little bit. They're quite big in the disability and employee benefit space. And funny enough, their pricing is very competitive. So they got good market share, but that actually hit their earnings recently. And that's most probably the reason with their poor share price performance more recently. They said the economic situations increased claims in that space quite interestingly, and have to reprice that.
Before I come to you, Bryon, if you were Niklas Kruger, the CEO of MMI, what would you do now to make this story exciting?
You would push innovation, and they really are pushing innovation. So they've got the multiplier, which is almost the Discovery Vitality copy, and they really are pushing that, which is their loyalty scheme, and pushing their healthcare product aggressively. Looking to sponsor mountain bike races and other sports events to try get in there. So give them credit, they are really pushing hard in the marketplace. It's just that they come against these huge incumbents, Discovery really in that space in particular. Is there an alternative, a space for an alternative? Maybe they can chip away and get some market share. And they've set up quite a strong innovation unit within the business, so pushing fintech, for example. And so they are trying the right things.
What would make you buy Momentum, other than the fact that it gets cheap?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have lost out to Discovery in the upper end. They've lost quite a few big clients. Yeah. I do agree with Lance here, the lower end stuff, because Momentum was always higher LSM clients. Yeah. Metropolitan was the lower end, and they've got good policies, very profitable policies like funeral cover and so on. They've got the expertise in those divisions. They can push that throughout sub-Saharan Africa, which is very underbanked, very underserviced financially, and through the likes of fintech, they don't have to go through the old legacy technologies of accessing the client. They can
leapfrog. This is the term that we use ad nauseum at the World Economic Forum. We can actually leapfrog old infrastructure,
So there is potential for them. We're going to have to see more signs of it, but I think for now, we'll have to sit and wait and watch.
Hot or not?
Yeah, so I'm undecided on this. I mean, you're talking me into it, and it's got such a strong...
Byron's talking you, or am I talking you into it?
Both of you doing a good job. So, I think...
You know what, pause on it, think about it, let's talk about Liberty, we come back and we'll make a call. There we go, give a little bit more time on MMI, and I'm going to do the same thing for you. Let's talk about Liberty. It's controlled by Standard Bank. It sells life and health related insurance, investment management and retirement products. Very similar to all
another one with a long history with Donald Gordon, who eventually moved off to London. It has a market cap of 30 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 13.2, and a dividend yield of 6.64%. They also recently separately listed portions of their property business, so that clients could get direct exposure to the likes, or shareholders to the likes of Sandton City and Morrow's Arch.
And there's Liberty. We've got Thabo Lotter at the helm here, having taken over from Bruce Hemphill. Your thoughts, Lance?
It really is a shadow of its former self, this business. I mean, you spoke of Donnie Gordon and an icon in the South African financial services industry, but the business owned chunks of other exciting financial services business, Standard Bank, offshore, the Liberty Properties, Stanlib's inside there now, and really it's almost like it's lost its way. It's a smaller subsidiary within the Standard Bank group. They've closed down their rewards program. The others are all pushing it, and this one, Own Your Life, Now, and it's interesting, Standard Bank never seemed to work together with Liberty.
So that bank assurance model not actually in play here?
Never really got going, never worked. I mean, UCount, or the UCount program, which is Standard Bank's loyalty program, is not offered by Liberty, as an example. So quite puzzling stuff, and it's never really quite gelled, and unfortunately, really seen in the results.
Byron?
So where you see those synergies between Old Mutual and Nedbank, they're just, not ticking. Yeah. And I think when you look at that share price graph, all of these companies had quite a nice spike in 2015 and then come down quite a lot after that, and Liberty more than most. Just because of their gearing towards the market, when those asset classes are picking up nicely, then that business is doing well, but it's sort of, a rising tide picking up all the ships in the harbour. So.
Hot, not, we've got to call it?
No, I'm not going
to
Not hot.
All right, now let's go back to MMI. Are you ready to call this one?
Yeah, I'll take a chance on it. So
you're going hot.
Yeah.
Are you going to go hot on MMI?
I'm very conservative on this one. I'd like to see more innovation, more signs of innovation, so I'm not going to be hot on MMI.
You're not hot, but you are on MMI.